I was raped by my father and mother from the age of around 2. I was also physically abused and scarred. I left my parents to go to a residential school where I was abused again. When I was around 20, I had first recollections of this, and I ended up suicidal and in a British care institution. Thereafter, I changed my name, threw away my old life, left the United Kingdom, came to the United States and created a completely new life. I now have a wife and a family, but also a lot of pain. I thought it would go away. I knew I had to do something. I called the Rowan Center. I felt that I was embraced from the start. The staff here were very understanding, welcoming, and enabled me to feel very comfortable and able to go forward in a journey of healing.
It was a regular Thanksgiving like any other year. We were, having fun, talking, eating, and the kids were playing all over the place. I realized that something was wrong. By the time I went to this room and I saw a member of my family recording my little girl in part nude, I was shocked. I started calling the other members of my family, and we decided to call the police right away. At first, you think that definitely it's your fault because you're not paying enough attention to your kids. I have to be honest, I fall into a deep, deep depression. It's been a very difficult way. It's been full of tears, blame. The Rowan Center, the counselor helped us not only to heal, to deal with the situation with my kids, but to make my wife and myself stronger. The counseling process helped us to believe in the future. Right now, we can see that we are gonna make it.
I was 8 years old when the first time happened. And I was sound asleep, and my father climbed in bed with me. I was afraid, and he said something to me, and I said, no, I don't want to. I don't want to. And he said, I said, why do you want me to do that? And he said, because it feels good. He just said, this is what we're gonna do, or you're not gonna get any clothes for school. My mother was a nurse, and my mother worked nights. I remember sitting at the edge of my bed, and I told her. And she said, she looked at me, she goes, she must have had a terrible dream. Daddy would never do that. I didn't want them to have a fight or get divorced, so I held on to it. I was very bad as I was growing up. Getting in trouble, getting arrested, drugs, it's trauma. And if you're not ready to deal with the trauma, your brain doesn't deal with it, and you put it on the shelf. If there was not the center and the girls that were in the group, I don't think I would have been here. I could tell everything that happened to me, the empathy, the non-judgment, the understanding, the making me understand. If it wasn't for the center and I kept holding it in, I don't think I would have survived.
All you need to do is hear one victim's story, and you know why it's so important to work to empower and educate people so that we can eliminate sexual violence. We started out as just a rape crisis center in a trailer.
We operated on a shoestring. The culture of that time was, first of all, that people thought of rape definitely in terms of, a guy jumping out of the bushes. It was hush-hush. Incest was a word that no one ever used.
Very early on, we constantly had to correct people about the fact that sexual assault was not domestic violence.
Many of the survivors that we met, I couldn't help but be awed by their strength.
We have everybody here. We believe everything that you're saying, and it's already a big step that you're coming forward and saying what happened to you.
They don't feel like they're going to be believed. They feel like there's a stigma attached to it. So only 10 to 20% of all sexual assaults are actually reported to the police. We want 100% of victims to feel like they can come here.
I think it's probably one of the most critical services that the center provides.
When you think of the term sexual violence, what's like the first thing that pops in your head?
Rape.
You get kids young, you talk about empathy, boundaries, you talk about what is safe touching, and it moves through more complicated topics like sexting and what consent is.
So when we talk about consent and what that means, right, it's active. Only yes means yes.
We feel it is so important to educate not only our school children, but the people in our community. Police officers, how to deal with victims of sexual violence, social workers.
These are the things that eventually will help eliminate some sexual violence. Advocacy, going to the hospital. We go to Greenwich Hospital, we go to Stamford Hospital, we go to Norwalk Hospital. Our advocates are there for the entire medical procedure, including the rape kits. And we also go to the police station. We go to the courts, all in this lower Fairfield County area. We're the only ones that do this.
We are with them every step of the way.
And the earlier you can get to people, the earlier they can start to process their trauma. Our goal at the Rowan Center with all of our survivors, either they're primary or secondary survivors, is to bring people a feeling of empowerment where they are in control again.
Anybody can be touched with this.
I consider myself lucky that it was what it was, that I found out, and that I found the center.
The most important thing that I would want any survivor who is going through what I have gone through is to understand that they are not alone.